Hello, thank you so much for coming to the Sashiko Live Streaming. This is Atsushi. Just let me check the audio first. I hope it's not echoing. Yep, it should be fine. All right. It's Thursday night. Another Thursday night. So this is the Sashiko live streaming where I talk about Sashiko while doing the Sashiko stitching. This is not a tutorials or lecture or webinar, so I'm not gonna be answering the questions about technical perspective. So I'm not gonna show you how to use thimble, how to do that, blah blah blah. I'm not gonna do those things. However, as long as I don't stop moving my hands, I like to keep moving my mouth and then answering any questions you may have, especially related to the cultural perspective. So if you have any questions about the Sashiko's culture or stories, please leave the comments so I should be able to follow up. Yes, Sakura. My cat is here as well. A few announcements. Actually, no announcement. There's a link for the Sashiko workshops that I had in 2025, which means that I don't have them anymore. All of the in-person workshops has been done in 2025. I will start working on the schedule for 2026 soon, so you can join one of those if you'd like to. And the last week I introduced about the Sashiko Japan retreat opening the 2 seats unexpectedly. Thankfully, those 2 seats are filled. It's pending, but it should be filled. So I really appreciate that, spreading the word. And that's about it. So I will start stitching while doing this. I'll start stitching, just change the camera. Alright. Sakura. What, Sakura? She has been shedding so much that it's kind of crazy. So I have been kind of sharing my personal life in the Sashiko live streaming, and the purpose of this live streaming is to share the kind of ordinary of my Sashiko, unediting, modified, so without any modification, without any editing. I wanted to see how Sashiko is done by those who actually teach as well. And since I kind of has been doing that for the last 5 or 6 years, I kind of tend to focus on my daily life a little more recently, especially last few months. And I just realized that this is the Sashiko live streaming, so I will try to shift myself back to the main road. That doesn't mean that I will stop talking about myself, but I would like to focus more on Sashiko story. That might be repetition of the same stories over and over again, but I think that's okay. And yeah, let's talk about Sashiko. That's probably what I want to do. Yeah, but Sashiko has become, not is becoming, has become a completely different form in my understanding. I'm not saying that the Sashiko introduced right now is wrong, but it's so different from what I knew. And it's interestingly, there are so many Japanese words that carries the different meaning when they come to the US or to English without the context. Or probably they brought a different context, therefore they have a different meaning. Kombucha is not the same in Japan at all. Some of the new generation in Japan are probably accepting that the difference between the Japanese kombucha and so-called kombucha in English. But if you were gonna go to the rural area to meet some of the grandmas or grandpas of my grandparents' age, if you ask for the kombucha, you probably almost always you will not get the kombucha that you can imagine. It's not a soda, it's not a drink, cold drink with some flavors and nice. Is it like a probiotic or something like inside of that? So those are not the kombucha we think. So that, for some reason, same word but different meaning. It represents different thing. And I think Sashiko is becoming one of those. We are using the same word, but the word, the word represents something completely different. So, well, that's like, we say that that's the kind of change without a context, or evolution without a context, evolution without the stories. And that's, we have a Japanese for that, kotoba no hitoriaruki, which means that the word starts working by itself. And Sashiko has been, or has completed that process. I've been saying that last few years, and it's, I don't want to say damage, but the change has been done. I'm certain that kombucha I have in my fridge in Tennessee will not be the same. Yeah, it's gonna be like a hot, salty drink. It's made from seaweed powder. Often they don't really probably use seaweed itself, but it's a seaweed powder, and it's not even a tea in that sense, but it's a little bit salty drink. I personally I like it. Personally I like it, but for those who hate kombucha in Japan, one of my friends really hated it in Japan. He described kombucha like the body fluid. He said that, it's not my word, he said that he feels like he's drinking the body fluid. Like little salty, not extremely salty. It's a little salty and warm. Well, after hearing that story, I don't want to drink it much, but it's a good, I like it. I haven't tried that last 12 years, so I don't know if I like it still, but. And this change is kind of interesting, because I don't think this change is wrong or bad. It's just the change is change. And the problem is that problem happens when nobody knows what kombucha in Japan is. At this moment, because kombucha is very well known, we don't have that big risk of losing what kombucha is in Japan. There are still many Japanese people who can describe what kombucha is. What if that not many Japanese know what kombucha is already? What if that culture or even industry of kombucha is almost gone? That not many Japanese have even tried to have kombucha. Yet it became like a very fuzzy, I mean, I like it here. It's a fuzzy, tasty drink with good nutritious inside of it. Then the bridge between that Japanese kombucha and the English kombucha will be lost. And that's the problem I find in Sashiko. If if might be the good word. If I don't speak up, if I did not teach Sashiko in English, if I did not speak up what Sashiko is for us, probably the Sashiko we practice would have been kind of non-existent. So it's not even the matter of right or wrong or good or bad or like or not dislike. The worst case scenario is it did not exist. It was not acknowledged. It was not remembered. And there are so many Sashiko which already took that path and it is taking that path. So I like to stop that. And I like to kind of at least introduce as many paths as possible. And that's not easy work, but that's what, by following that, we can finally define what Sashiko really is. But yeah, today it's like you may have your own understanding of Sashiko. And once again, that's not wrong. That's probably correct. But that's not only the definition that we can always find. Sorry, not find. Existed. That's not the old definition that existed in history. And the trend, the flow of trend is so fast that it's almost gone. A few years ago, I was kind of predicting that will happen, but probably what I meant was in 10 years or even 5 years. It didn't take 5 years, it was just a matter of 2-3 years. And it's kind of scary though. It's really scary. Very few percent, very minor percentage of the people will want to, like that's the key, want to, or even realize that there might be some stories behind the foreign word they use. But in the trend, majority of the people don't doubt that. And those teaching kind of conclude within the circle. So when one asks the question in English, that person expects to get the answer in English too. And there are not that many Japanese who can engage in that kind of conversation in English. As the result, all the question and answer will be fulfilled within the circle of the English, which probably not healthy because the practice they are talking about is outside of that circle. And you know, some people realize that. Some people realize that like something is off, something is not right, something doesn't feel right. And when they kind of start looking for what is missing, what is the kind of what's the point, what is the point that they're kind of missing, then they kind of find me in the process of searching for what it is that they're missing. They feel that they're missing. But those are not really the minority, I mean the majority of the people. They are kind of minority, and the majority of the people are okay with the information they can get, and they don't probably doubt. That's the whole point. The doubt to acknowledge what may be behind the word. Well, but there's very few things I can do. what I can do is just keep stitching and keep talking, so that one day that flow might change and many people are still looking for the other side of the story. When that happens, I don't want to say Sashiko will be revived, because Sashiko is already the product of reviving, but more like, well, I probably keep using the same more and more and more, but acknowledgement, they will be, this Sashiko stitching will be acknowledged. I may not be there, it might be, that many years later, but the voice you're hearing right now will be somewhat left behind. That's the archive I really, really want to have right now to refer to. But it's kind of, for the people who stitched Sashiko 50 years ago, 40 years ago, they did not have the YouTube, they did not have the internet. Did they have a strong will to speak up about their ordinary life in front of the camera, which camera was quite difficult to, extraordinary to have. So because of its ordinary character, Sashiko is not recorded, like it's not in the record, and that's kind of sad, and that's challenging for me to get the sort of, I know that it's true because it's in my memories, but it's very difficult to sort of prove that the memory itself is not my imagination, and there's no way to kind of prove that the memory is actually what happened. But if we have those archives, we could have sort of, check the answers or check the understanding to the situation. So I hope that one day this live streaming or what I say on the social media will be like a reference to understand what Sashiko really can be. Sashiko is not the word for just the technique or stitching, like technique or design. It's more than that, and that more part is very, very, very difficult to illustrate, describe, talk on the same, like we can go to the same place together in the same train or same car. Like, I really want to kind of I am quite interested how Sashiko will become on top of the pain I may have to feel in the future. It is flying, and I don't see the landing point at this moment yet. I am a very, I forgot that word. I'm very 慎重, careful. I'm not a risk taker, so when I decided to fly, I really need to know where I will be landing to. And it's not even the metaphor, like I really need the goal to land to. But so whatever I do has the sort of goal to land. Destination. The destination can change based on the time and date, but it's my fear, it's my very least favorite to start flying without knowing where the destination is. And to be honest, I don't see that destination or where to land for the trend I am seeing in Sashiko. Aloha, Sue. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, where does it go? That I'm interested. And that I hope that some people will have enough like moment to start wondering what's going on. It's fun, but more than fun, and that more part is also quite important, and I don't know if it's well explained. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's a wrong statement. I'm sorry. I know that it's not explained. Therefore, I am here. It's really like an irony, though. Like, if I knew that this trend would come, which is very much what if conversation, so I can say that because it is happening right now, but if I knew that this trend would come to Sashiko, I wouldn't probably left the country to come to the United States, which means that I wouldn't be able to make Sashiko streaming like this in English, because the English is purely the product of my 4 years in the US. Before that, there wasn't even a possibility. So, because I did not see the future of Sashiko, because I did not see that landing point of the Sashiko we were practicing back then, therefore, because I was not a captain back then, I wanted to kind of escape from that boat or airplane. But if we all knew that Sashiko would be this big trend, then I probably would have become a very nice, quiet, yet stubborn, like, craftsman in Japan. Welcoming the guests superficially, and hiding the kind of core in my, deep inside. Sound is choppy? Let me check it. It might be. I don't know. Just let me check it. It is, I don't know, I didn't find it's choppy, but I might be mumbling. That's probably the reason too. I will speak up. Sometimes, like, we use a different vocal code when we speak different language. So, how can I explain this? When I talk in Japanese, I kind of squeeze my throat with my muscle. So it's become a little bit of high pitch. And this microphone seems to catch the high pitch quite well. But when I speak in English, I kind of open my throat and my voice kind of drops to a little lower. And that lower sound, this microphone is not really doing a good job, which, once again, I just have to replace that. But let me know if there's not that much things I can do at this moment to change that audio, but I hope it's just a matter of time. Yep. Whew. Sounds okay to me. Thank you. And this live streaming setting is still not good, so I put this computer for some reason the opposite side of the router, like Wi-Fi router, so I'm using the extending device, but that's probably not really helpful. So the best way is to connect this computer to the internet via cable, And that's what I was doing in the previous house, and that's what I'm trying to see that what I can do. It's the cable, by the way. Wow. It looks like, wow. Riento, thank you so much for checking it though. I really appreciate it. Your problem might be everybody's problem, and at least I can check. So what is Sashiko for you? I mean, if you're here, you are probably, hopefully, interested in Sashiko. And you may have your own definition already. You may have read some of the answers, descriptions, rules, It's everywhere right now, if you Google it. So, that understanding what is introduced as Sashiko is quite... sometimes it can be painful, but interesting as well. And that interesting about language, I have that with French. I speak it from a different part of my mouth and head. Somehow I swallow my sound more with French. Interesting. Yeah, it helped me to improve my pronunciation when I realized that I kind of have to relax when I talk in English. Not that I'm really always tensed when I talk in Japanese, but it's a little different. So some people say that the Japanese are like listening to the music. It's like a music. And that kind of makes sense, because when we sing, we kind of use the throat muscle to make sound. Right? Technically speaking, I think. So, but yeah, because I learned, or I got used to open the throat quite, not a big, but relax a lot, I cannot really sing anymore. I mean, I'm not saying that English will make your singing worse, but it will probably negatively affect to the Japanese singing when you kind of learn how to not lower the voice. It's not that you should be lowering your voice, more like, how can I explain that? It's kind of difficult, but one thing I can say is that I have a different kind of form when I speak a different language, which I speak only 2 languages, so I don't speak enough to understand the difference in other languages, so but it's just not about your brain or memory. It's probably something else that we can improve. So is Sashiko too, yo. I'm here to learn how to make stitches exactly the length of the grain of rice. Oh. So you are here to learn how to make stitches exactly the length of grain of rice. See? My friends who are here knows what I will talk already. So we can make fun of that each other, but I love it. I love that fact that we have like a common understanding that we can make joke around it. Of course not the long grain, but then also not a short grain rice neither. It is probably. The one thing I don't want you to kind of misunderstand is that it is probably true that some Japanese said that stitches size should be like rice grain size. But the difference happens when it is translated into the different language. In Japanese, I don't know if we have this one as in English. So if you have that in English, please let me know. But we have a concept saying that, oh my god, I cannot probably translate this one again. It's called heck, I have to change my brain. 努力目標. 努力目標 is the word for that, and it's in Japanese. 努力, so effort. It's like a try your best kind of thing. You should try your best, and you should work hard. You should effort. You should spend more effort. That doesn't sound good. Effort to reach to the ideal goal. And sometimes we use the word should for that. So when we have that 努力目標, we use the word should. And that should, in that Japanese context, everybody knows that it's not gonna be that. It's not gonna be achieved. Therefore, it's the effort, your effort goal. And I strongly believe that this phrase, some people saying that the stitches has to be rice grain size, is a phrase to say that that's something you may want to kind of imagine, or to kind of not even aim to, but that's something like analogy. Analogy might be a good idea, good example here. So for example, when you want to run fast, like you may tell, when you want somebody to run fast, you may tell them that run like the cheetah or rabbit, run like the wind. Wind is fine too. So run like the wind. It doesn't mean that you should be the wind, or you should be the rabbit, or you should be the cheetahs. It's just like. And that size of rice is also like that. It's like it doesn't have to be equal, and we all know that it's not gonna be equal. So that should change the actual form, because the people who translated does not know this kind of concept, and they purely thought that, if not purely, that's a little more problem, but they just translated that it should. And because we love the answers, big rules happen. But no, that's not it. That I was raised in the condition that they didn't even have that kind of effort goal. So in analogy, they didn't say like run like the wind. They told me to just run and fast, or run to that direction. So it's kind of really crazy for me to see many people being so particular about it. I have heard similar things about your crossing stitch should be finished so neatly that the back is as good as front. Well, it's not the rule. It's not. It may be at some point in some places, but not the Sashiko way practice. But that kind of like contradict within the sentence though, right? So if you focus on one side, then the wrong side will not be exactly the same. if you pay attention to the one side, the wrong side will be something different. If the goal is to make both sides as the finished side, we cannot really distinguish what is front and what is wrong, even when we are stitching. So if the stitches are controlled by how it's supposed to be, then the both front side and back side will not be the same. If the goal is to make both sides as clean, that's a different story, but that's not the whole point of the Sashiko neither. They focus on the end result instead of the skill and process to get the result. In the running analogy, maybe you can go super fast to a goal once, but working on technique, fitness, etc. lets you run your best over time. Yep, so, you know, we know what, we as people here know what is going on, but we also know that the trend is so fast and so result-oriented. I feel so sad. Probably the sad is very, very much the feeling when it comes to that. I would like to use the analogy, but what would be the equivalent for this in English? The Sashiko introduced in English right now is missing the most delicious part of that fruit. So, what would be the nice fruit that you enjoy just one part of it and then throw it away or ignore that? Yet that part that you are throwing away or ignoring is the most delicious part. I can think of some in Japanese, like we sometimes throw away the skin of the fish, but some people love that skin more than anything. That someone include the bear who eat salmon. Because the nutritions are in there, fat mainly is there. Some of the bear, black bear, I guess, when they eat salmon in the fish in the river, they eat just around the skin as well as around the skin as well too, and they kind of dispose. They don't eat the actual, fish part, meat part. And that's kind of interesting too. I'm not saying we should really throw away the meat, but it's just sad. And I think I kind of became adult for that matter. I matured myself for that. That I can feel sad on that. Not a frustration, not the irritation, it's just sad. Just a second, I kind of have to choose the color after this. Color. What would be the next color? When you do Sashiko, please have the goal first. This isn't the kind of best practice that I can recommend. But it's okay, we don't have to be always ideal. I know that I shouldn't be eating that much chips, but I cannot sometimes stop it. Shoot for the moon, because even if you miss you land among the stars. There's your English analogy. Okay, shoot the moon, because even if you miss, you land among the stars. Probably a bit different. It is catching the same nuance, but that analogy also kind of explain or imply that you should get something. 努力目標 kind of implied that it's meaningless. Or we both understand that it's not gonna happen without any result. So, well, I'll try to find that somehow. もう一回黒いっていいかな。もう一回黒かな。もう一回黒やな。Hey, oh wow, it has been 40 minutes already. Effort is its own reward. That's also close, but that's probably not 100% conveying what I want to say. That's why it's so difficult. Both of the advice is very correct. And that's what many professional interpreter, translator, they should do those things. But because I'm speaking in both language, it does not kind of click. It's not wrong, but it does not sound fit to the exactly what I want. And there might not be the word or expression to explain that, and the worst case scenario, my understanding of the Japanese word may be wrong too, because that's based on my understanding and my learning. So experience makes a big part of that decision. By the way, so I still don't have the kind of energy level to do the 1 hour live streaming, so I will stop doing this after this much thread. Well, 1 hour is the goal. It's the goal to make the live streaming sustainable, to make it every week. And 2 hours is the 努力目標 that I will be trying to make it happen. Which means that I'm not even... I know that it's not gonna happen anytime soon. It requires some context, I guess. So we cannot just cut that word out and then explain that. Which that's what's happening in Sashiko, but we cannot just cut it a word off and then explain that. It has to be in the context. Is it cold today? It was extremely cold in the last few days here in Pennsylvania. I mean, in the morning. I cannot believe that it's already the end of the summer, but the summer has ended, feels like. But today, like right now, for some reason I feel a little hot. Not here, it's the same every day. That's awesome. That's kind of awesome. That's... As much as I love the 4 seasons, the same every day sounds kind of nice. My body is not really adapting this much change. I think I used to be much better in terms of adjusting myself in the weather, but now every day is like a fight. Oh my god, today has a little bit of rainy day, so my my blood pressure might go down. I thought about doing the Japan trip until I realized I don't have any cold weather clothes anymore. That is very bad. Yep, we will go to Japan. In Takayama can be quite cold, so yeah, they need. Well, it's not like a severe winter time. It's January and February are gonna be the severe winter time, and November is not gonna be as bad as those 2 months. But it could be below 0. So, yep. At the same time, last year was kind of warm too. So, let's see. I learned that I've heard that it's still summer in Japan. It's quite hot in Japan yet. So I don't know when those temperatures settle, but something is happening. We were saying that in Japan, like after August 15th, the temperature should go down, but I barely even have shoes, just sandals. I have adapted no matter how much I claim to not love it here. Oh, that's what human is. You don't like it there? Well, probably love and like is different. I would. Well, I don't know. That's like it's we look for something we don't have. The neighbor's grass is greener than we have, so I will miss something that I have if I lose it, I guess. Yep, that's good. That was a good idea. See, 5 minutes walk to the beach is something I cannot even imagine. Yeah, there's nothing within the 5 minutes walk. Well, there's USPS, which is nice because when I have orders, I can just walk there, but yeah, I don't think there's anything in the 5-minute walking distance. So yeah, let's, we gotta enjoy what we have, and always we look for something we don't have. It's a human nature. That's a human nature. And that's what Sashiko is. And absolutely Sashiko was like that. So, without having that little bit of, not a negative, but comparing yourself to the others, that you get envy a little bit to the things that you don't have. That's a quite big step to understand what Sashiko really is. But we cannot deny that we have those feelings. Okay, we'll finish it here today. Thank you so much for coming again on the Thursday live streaming. it is my goal to keep offering this live streaming on every Thursday night. And I will skip at some point for some, workshops and some other schedules, but it is my goal to keep doing that. Alright, thank you so much for coming, and I will see you next Thursday. Have a good night. Bye bye.